They say carrots are bad for you if you eat too many, you turn orange, but if you avoid them completely, you won't be able to see in the dark. The same can be said for micromanaging. If you avoid it completely as a leader, your team will be in the dark. If you're setting your sights on a management position, we need to get clear on a big bad word: micromanaging. It's not so bad after all. Hi, I'm Sarah, a communication consultant to executives and emerging leaders. Today, I want to debunk micromanagement and give you some communication tips that will help you strike the right balance in your leadership communication. First, let's define micromanagement. According to the Collins Dictionary, micromanagement refers to the control of a business or project with excessive attention to minor details. Although it's had so much negative press, micromanagement is not a bad communication behaviour. On the contrary, it's a necessary aspect you'll need to build to add new skills and get good outcomes among your team. The thing that stops micromanagement from negatively impacting your employees is how you balance it with your soft skills. Depending on your industry and tasks, you may need to increase the ratio of micromanagement to get good outcomes. For example, a surgeon training staff is not likely to ignore minor details which could cause a fatality. Likewise, a financial director needs to integrate clearly defined instructions to drive profit and sink loss. Precision in all industry is necessary at times. An employee's motivation is a direct result of the sum of interactions with his or her manager. When engaging in management communication around standard fine details, it's hard to find ways that won't overwhelm your employees. So here are 5 tips to amplify your soft skills and allow you to give instruction in terms of the fine details. Number 1. For minute tasks that you oversee, find a way to communicate the process to your team that best engages them. Face-to-face meetings, project cards, a calendar system. Select the method that requires the least effort for you, your time is short, but gives the most precise outline for your team. Number 2. Chunk large projects into phases so your team don't feel like they have a never-ending list of minute jobs to do. Acknowledge completion of core chunks and give targeted praise to the key players at the end of the project chunk so that you're providing enough reinforcement. 3. When employees are micromanaged, they can think that you don't trust them. They can also become fearful of your dissatisfaction. A helpful way to reduce fear is to make yourself available to provide clear and supportive feedback that emphasizes positive work. If you notice an error, use this as a training opportunity and dedicate some time to build up your team members' skills for the gaps you see. Staff appreciate the time we managers give them to build up their skill set. This kind of interaction is time-consuming, but it's a gesture you'll need to add balance to micromanagement with rapport building. Remember, micromanagement can only thrive as a positive aspect in the workplace if you build rapport with your staff and balance it with learning opportunities that invest in your team members' skills with the same detail you expect of them in their project tasks. Ken Blanchard said, "For a manager to be perceived as a positive manager, they need a 4-to-1 positive to negative contact ratio." You'll need to amplify your soft skills if you're a micro-delegator. Stay tuned for my last 2 tips after a quick break from our sponsor. This vlog is brought to you by the C-Suite. There are just 6 skills you need to communicate intelligently and elegantly. And it's a fact, speaking confidence isn't in your DNA, it's a specific skill set. And if you can't express yourself confidently, you're losing communication capital. But I've got some good news for you because you can speak up with clarity, impact, and elegance with proper training. The C-Suite is opening soon. It's going to blow the socks off your leadership communication. Join the waitlist today over at sarahgeiger.com. Back to our 4th tip. If you're allocating tasks to individual team members that you know are very detailed and focused, make sure they know that they're not the only ones working like this. Many employees will feel violated if faced with increased detail and attention from their manager when they believe they're the only ones experiencing this type of input and overseeing. On the other hand, if your workflow has the same level of detail, it doesn't hurt to showcase at times where you can, to encourage mutuality. Employees don't need to know everything you do, but they should have some scope and evidence to understand that you're busier working on other projects. If not, they may perceive you as the ivory tower leader. You should never justify your workflow to your staff. That could reduce your credibility, and it's also not their business because it's not their KPIs. But do try to give some insight into your workflow demands from time to time. It will humanize you. If you're training a team member and have precise requirements, be direct. You can say something like, "There are lots of details in this, which is why I've built out this task list to give you a solid guide of your workflow. You'll work through these things independently in the end, but for now we're building up your skills so you feel comfortable to work through the process. Feel free to ask questions or ask for support if you need it from the team or me. And if you don't have time, make sure you delegate the support." If you're dealing with a long-term employee, make it clear through your communication that they are not the only ones with a detailed task list. Use a positive tone. It could sound like this: "The whole team is working on the fine details for this project. I've allocated all staff a detailed task list. It may feel overwhelming, but the benefit is the detail will allow us to integrate all the outcomes as a team faster and seamlessly." My final tip is to reduce your meetings. Too many meetings overwhelm your team, according to recent research from the University of Reading. Ensure that your team have no meeting days. The best ratio is 3 meeting-free days per week, but if you can have at least one day, it will automatically increase your staff members' autonomy, communication, sense of cooperation, feeling of engagement, and drop their feeling of being micromanaged by anywhere between 33 to 63%. At this point in the pandemic, we know that most workers spend more than 85% of their time in meetings, and it's taking a psychological toll. This is toxic. Delete your meetings, as many of them as you can get away with, and check your team's workflow to ensure that they have at least 1, if not 3, meeting-free days a week. This will help you strike a balance so that they are more attuned to the details they need because they'll feel less overwhelmed. Competent managers can delegate the details. The delegation of the smaller tasks is the only way to have the cognitive clarity to oversee global outcomes and meet your KPIs, which are your responsibilities. Achieving equilibrium between rapport building and managing is a fine art, which is why not everyone makes it to CEO or executive roles. If you're struggling to communicate with your team in a confident manner that gets the job done while balancing a healthy working relationship, you should check out C-Suite, a portfolio of science-backed communication training for executive and emerging leaders. The C-Suite is my magnum opus. It provides a total fix for your career communication. You'll learn actionable methods to increase your communication comfort, social intelligence, logical flow, body language, voice tone, and charisma so that you can transform your speaking skills. Sign up now for the waitlist via the link below. We made it! Thanks so much for watching. If you got this far in today's vlog and I managed to convince you, please write "Micromanaging can be positive" in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. I'm looking forward to sharing the next one, so make sure you subscribe right away so you don't miss it. Ciao for now.